Can you get away with playing humbucker sounds when your only guitar is a Strat? I don't know. We'll see. Hey, what is up, guys? My name is Guillaume.
My name is Kris. Welcome to Thomann's Guitars and Basses. Today, we want to figure out if we can get away by using the second coolest type of instrument.
Immediately in the aggression. He woke up this morning and chose violence.
Yes. So today we want to figure out if we can get away by just using a Strat or a Strat style, S-style instrument.
Yes.
A 3 single coil traditional instrument to play, rock stuff, warmer, bluesy, clean tones, like all kinds of stuff that you would not necessarily play with a Strat or an S-type.
Exactly. So we did a video a few months, maybe even years ago now, like all the sounds with the Fender Stratocaster, all the sounds with the S-type guitar. This is not the point of that video in the sense that in that video, it was still going to sound like a Strat. It was still like we were not trying to get away from that inherent sound of the guitar. This video today is maybe more dedicated to people who have the one guitar. You're just starting up. You have a Strat, an S-style instrument, and you want to explore more stuff. You want to go into, humbucker territories, and you want to learn some Guns N' Roses, or you want to learn some AC/DC. You want to do that, and you want to do that with a sound that doesn't scream, oh, that is the wrong guitar. So what can you do? What do you do? How do you do it? That's basically the topic for this video. For that, I think we should start with the basic differences, and you're going to explain that because you're so good at science. Basic differences between the sound of a humbucker in comparison to the sound of a Strat ST-type single coil.
So the main difference is, well, usually it's output, but that's something you can work around. Like a humbucker is going to be usually much more punchy and will drive the amp or the pedal, whatever you use, harder, which means you have more gain instantly. You have much more of a punchy, big, warm sound. The EQ curve, that's the most in-your-face difference, the most obvious difference. A Strat will definitely have, compared to a humbucker, a scooped sound, so much less lower mid-range and much more sparkle. And if it's like a nice clean amp, like a US type clean amp, then you'll have like a really pronounced big low end as well.
Maybe something else that we can mention quickly, if it's your first guitar, if you're not super familiar with different types of pickup, is the fact that when you have only one coil and not two, there's going to be a little bit more noise. Inherently in your sound. I'm going to show you how I would do it with an overdrive pedal. I'm using the Thomann Deluxe by Wampler because it has a 3-band EQ, which you'll find on most drive pedals, like the low end, mids, and treble. So not trying to add necessarily a lot of gain, but a pedal like this will also solve your output issue, non-issue. So you can use it as a volume boost, first off, and then shape the EQ a little bit.
Yeah, that's solid. I mean, no one's gonna get fooled who's experienced in how different pickups and guitar types sound. This does not sound like a semi-hollow jazz guitar or whatever, but it does sound much warmer. It sounds amazing.
Yeah.
And I don't immediately think of like, someone playing a Strat for something that should sound warmer. It's just a really nice, warm sound.
I think if you remove the visual from it and like you're just hearing that sound,
Yeah.
it's just going to be one of those sounds that's super nice and kind of hard to identify.
Yeah.
Like if you just listen to that, you wouldn't really be able to point out at a
Nope.
specific guitar.
I would guess like something with a P90.
Yeah,
I guess.
the settings will be on your screen. Lot of mid-range, cut the treble, boost the bass ever so slightly because it's already got a lot of bass, and that little volume push that we've got going on as well.
All right. My approach, well, I would do two things. First of all, if it's a clean tone, I would experiment with the tone knob on your guitar. If it's a Strat or a Strat style guitar, you'll have two of those for like these two and this, or for this and this, depending on which kind of circuit and how traditional the guitar type is. But you definitely can go for like a warmer, bluesier, or warm funk clean tone, whatever you're going for. By turning the tone down just a tiny bit. Don't go nuts with it because it will just sound like, oh, someone turned down the tone knob, which is a different kind of tone. It's not like a humbucker-esque kind of warm clean. I still hear a Strat, but it's already too dull for my taste. So I would not, for this sound I'm going for right now, it just feels wrong. So the second idea is to use an EQ pedal, which is always a mighty tool for whichever reason. If you want to scoop a sound, if you want to push the mids, if you want to just use it as your solo boost, whatever you want to do with it, it's a must. Like every guitar player and bass player should, I think, have, just in case, a good EQ, a simple EQ. This is the G7. Doesn't get more traditional than that.
Staple.
Yeah. And I removed a bit of the top and like the 5-6K to remove the sparkle. Let's see what it does. Okay,
very nice.
It's a good mix. You've seen the setting on the G7, a bit of a mid push, and I reduced the treble, and also I turned the tone down to like 7.5 for the neck pickup, and that just brings me to a happy place. It's warm. You can still kind of hear that it's a single-coil, but it's a super sweet, non-stratty tone. Love it.
Absolutely. All right.
Cool. Drive.
My personal take on it is that I like to EQ my guitar pre-drive.
Okay.
I like to do that pre because then the way the guitar is affected by the clipping itself feels a bit more organic to me, rather than taking an overdrive or distortion and then downing the bass completely, making the thing, maxing out the bass completely, making the thing just like, that's not really what I was going for. So to exemplify that today, I'm using the Kernum Ridge, which is really cool because it has both the pre and the post tone control. It's not a 3-band EQ, it's just going to be bright on the right and dark on the left, basically. It's a tone control, but it gives you the option to do it both before and after the drive. So we'll put the settings as well for a more humbucker-esque drive sound with that Strat. I completely cut the pre-tone. That's all the way down.
Wow, so super dark
Super
before
dark
it
on the
overdrives
pre.
the signal.
And then in the post-tone, so after overdrive, I'm reintroducing a bunch of that, you'll see the control. Anyways, it sounds like that.
I would also consider that, but if I don't have a special drive that does that, or like a pedal that can turn down the tone before it overdrives, I don't mind having the EQ after the drive.
Okay.
You have to be much more careful because every little change will be super noticeable, and like it becomes really unnatural really fast. So just be careful when you're EQing after your drive. By the way, we are showing stuff with pedals because it's a good in-between solution. If you're using a modeler, do the same thing with presets and patches and everything. If you're using purely amp because pedals are for losers, then you need a lot of amps to recreate what we're doing. But hey, it's absolutely doable and will sound mighty. And yes, please.
It's fine.
Or the first one was a clone style circuit, which I don't have to introduce to you because he uses them all the time.
What is the clone?
What is the clone? I use the Coliseum by Cornerstone, which has a clone style side, the left side. And what I love about it is that it sounds really, really sweet mid-rangey. It does push the right kind of mid-range that single-coils usually can benefit from, which is awesome. And then the second round, I used the ODD box, which is a very much amp style, like a wide, big, rock sounding pedal, but together again with an EQ to push the mids and get and the EQ was after the drive, which allows me to do much more radical things. That's why my settings are pretty subtle,
small,
but they do change a lot. Like if I play the ODD without the EQ, it sounds pretty damn stratty.
For high gain, same, but different.
But more.
But still same. No, same reasoning applies, more mid-range, maybe a bit of bass according to taste. If you're in a band, that's going to be a different thing. You want less bass than what you think you do. And, and keeping the treble under control. The thing you have to keep in mind is that the more gain you add, the more chances you have of adding fizz and the ice picky sort of treble, and that's the part that you really don't want. That's the part that people usually refer to when they talk about the bridge on a Strat or S-style guitar. The more gain you have, the more you want to be careful about this specific aspect of your sound. I'm just going to pair the two pedals that I've used until now. It's going to be the Kernum Ridge and the Wampler Thomann, basically in the same settings as I have them now. Since I'm cutting so much bass with the Kernum, I can also like back up a little bit on the bass and the mid-range on the Thomann. It doesn't need that much. If I want to go high gain, I can, put the gain back around 12 o'clock. It's going to be fine. And treble, again, we'll see depending on the fizz. But basically, this is my Strat slash.
Loud and proud, back to G.
Loud and proud. So, everything I said I would do, I did not. It's exactly the same way that it was for the pedals while being independent. It works. It works.
Yeah.
Mids, all the mids.
Yeah.
Keep the highs under control. Be good to yourself.
And also, I will make sure, I wanted this video and I will make sure that I keep a bit of the noise somewhere.
Oh yeah,
after,
Sorry, here's noise.
It's
Yeah, you can dial in a very subtle noise gate that won't completely murder the rest of your signal chain, but it's not necessary. I wouldn't call that
like totally fine. Like if as soon as you play with a band, that noise is just not gonna be heard.
Cymbals, am I right?
Yes, exactly. All right. What I just did there is exactly the same thing as what you did.
Hey!
That's the thing about clone style pedals. I used the Archer this time to remove a tiny bit of the treble. That's what I love about those pedals, that with the treble you can actually make a humbucker guitar sound a little bit more like clicky, like you hear more of the pick attack, or tame the treble if it's a guitar that just has a little too much for that kind of sound that you're aiming for. And I used the ODD box after, which is, as told, a huge rock sounding, one of my favorite like amp style drive pedals. And that's it. I didn't even use the EQ. What would you do with your Strat to make it sound more, you know, fitting for higher gain tones, for warm jazzy or bluesy or whatever tones? Let us know in the comments in case you have a certain favorite way of doing that. Maybe other people can sort of benefit from it and would really appreciate it.
Absolutely. And if you don't want to miss out on watching us murder John Mayer, The Shadows, and alike on humbucker guitars, definitely subscribe to the channel, because that video is definitely not going to be filmed today.
No, no.
So hit subscribe, hit the bell, come hang out with us. It's fun, and we'll see you in the next video.
Bye-bye.